Hi everyone. So this week we saw three movies. We saw Metropolis, The Dark Knight, and Wally. So starting with Metropolis, this movie, its main point is to show the society that's built in this movie. There's a great difference between the rich and the poor. So we see the rich living in luxury, and the rich people are the ones that like manage the city, and they're like the businessmen of the city. Meanwhile, the poor they work underground to keep all these machines running for the rich. So basically, all the work they do is just to keep the rich, allowing the rich to continue to live in this luxury that they have. And this social divide is sort of the cause for the dystopia in this movie. Um, so the leader of the city, his son decides to go see what it's like to live as a worker. And after experiencing what it's like and witnessing how they're treated and how much they have to work, he decides that he wants to help them. And he believes that he can be a type of mediator between the rich and the poor in the society. Um, Towards the end of the movie, the people end up destroying this machine that there is in the city, which ends up creating a flood in the underground, which is where the workers live and work. So there's a lot of biblical symbolism, I think, in this movie. For example, the fact that the leader of the city, that his son came down to experience what it's like for the workers, is similar to the story of how God sent Jesus to come down to earth and experience living on earth and living as a human. And also at the end, the flooding that occurred after the machines were destroyed, I think is similar to the story of Noah's Ark and how this kind of cleanses society to restart again, but better, obviously. Um, I think the target audience for this movie would be adults, since they would probably understand more the social undertones of this movie. Um, Also, since this movie's pretty old, it's in black and white, and the effects are not as sophisticated as what we're used to in modern day movies. So, moving on to The Dark Knight. Um, in this movie, the fake city of Gotham has become a pretty dystopian due to the crime and the violence. So the main villain in this movie is the Joker, who's kind of like this character who just creates chaos and thrives on chaos. So at the beginning of the movie, he meets with other criminals in the city, and they agree that Batman must be killed. So in order to do this, the Joker starts killing people until Batman reveals his identity. So Harvey says that he is Batman, even though he isn't. Um, and then later on in the movie, the Joker ends up separating Harvey and his girlfriend, and then the Batman isn't able to save any, like, well, he saves Harvey, but Harvey still gets half of his face burned, and then his girlfriend dies. After this, Harvey goes on a killing spree, which was prompted by the Joker, by the Joker's influence. We also see the Joker he puts people on two ferries, one which is filled with criminals, and the other with civilians. And he tells each of the fairies that they must either sort of press a button to make the other fairy explode, or if not, he will make both of the fairies explode. However, neither of the fairies chooses to cause the other one to explode, which kind of shows, I think, their desire to change and to be better as a city. So in this movie, I saw a lot of mythological parallels. So, for example, Harvey impersonating Batman and then getting burned is like Ellis imitating Zeus and then getting struck by lightning. Also, Batman acts, even though he is not a god, he acts like he is better, or not better, but different than and more powerful than everyone else, and he is able to act above the law almost. Like he is the one, instead of the police that's like enforcing the law. And then the situation with the fairies also represents good versus evil. I think the target audience for this movie is adults, just because of the dark themes and the general violence. The special effects and the makeup and the costumes in this movie do a very good job of keeping up this dark theme. With Batman's black suit and the makeup for Harvey and the Joker and everything. So the next movie is Wally, and this takes place in the future where in a dystopia where Earth is uninhabitable due to just the result of humans destroying the environment. So in Wally, the humans have been living on a ship called the Starliner in space for many centuries. So much so that every human has become obese, and they pretty much just stay on these like chairs for like their whole lives. So Wally is a robot that is still on Earth, and he's like a scavenger, and he ends up finding a seedling plant, and soon he's visited by another robot called Eve that is searching for signs of life on Earth. Um, After showing her his plants, Eve then returns to the Starliner. She sort of shuts down and then returns to the Starliner because she must report her findings so that the ship can come back to Earth. However, the ship has a sort of automated autopilot system, and it's kind of like gone rogue, and it does not want to return to Earth. So it sends other robots to try and destroy the plant. So then the rest of the movie is pretty much Wally and Eve trying to get this plant into the ship's reader so that they can go back to Earth. So in this movie, Wally and Eve kind of represent Adam and Eve, since they kind of are the catalyst to restart life on Earth. And the Starliner is like Noah's Ark because yeah, like they all come back and restart the population. In this, Wally is kind of like a vegetation god in the sense that he sacrificed himself in order to be able to bring everyone back to Earth, and then is later able to be resurrected by Eve. So the target audience in this movie is obviously children, but I think adults can also enjoy it and can see the greater message and the greater picture that the movie portrays. And I think the movie does a really good job of raising awareness of the damage that we're doing to the planet, which is its main theme. And yeah, that's it for me. Thank you.